What if the NHL returned to Quebec? If the NHL were to return to Quebec, a current NHL team would need to be relocated. In 2021, Seattle is expected to join the NHL, so the team being relocated would have to be an Eastern Conference team. The team that should be relocated is the Florida Panthers. If the Panthers moved to Quebec, the alignment of the divisions wouldn't even have to be changed. This is what would happen if the Florida Panthers were relocated to Quebec. After moving to Quebec, the teams will likely be named the Quebec Nordiques. After moving to Quebec, the Nordiques will want to make a huge splash in both the draft and in free agency. The Quebec Nordiques select Victor Soderstrom and Alexander Campbell in the 2019 draft. Notable 2019 draft picks: New Jersey Devils get Jack Hughes, New York Rangers get Kaapo Kakko, Chicago Blackhawks get Vasily Podkolzin, Colorado Avalanche get Dylan Kozin, LA Kings get Bowen Byram, Detroit Red Wings get Trevor Zegras, Buffalo Sabres get Kirby Dach, Edmonton Oilers get Matthew Boldy, Anaheim Ducks get Alex Turcotte, Vancouver Canucks get Peyton Krebs, Philadelphia Flyers get Arthur Kaliev, and the Minnesota Wild get Thomas Hurley. Before free agency, a few trades are made. The Carolina Hurricanes trade James Reimer and Mike Hoffman to the Carolina Hurricanes for Warren Foegele, Brock McGinn, and a second-round pick in 2020. If the Hurricanes make the playoffs, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. Roberto Luongo retires, so the Nordiques will have to unload his contract. Quebec Nordiques trade Roberto Luongo and Jace Howard to the Ottawa Senators for a third-round pick in 2020. Quebec Nordiques trade Dennis Malgin and Mackenzie Weegar, as well as a second-round pick in 2021, to the San Jose Sharks for Kevin LeBlanc, Melker Karlsson, and Joakim Ryan. Detroit Red Wings trade Darren Helm and Dan DeKaiser to the Colorado Avalanche for Nikita Zadorov, Sven Andrighetto, and a third-round pick in 2020. The Red Wings also trade Franz Nelson to the Montreal Canadiens for Joel Armia and a second-round pick in 2020. The Edmonton Oilers trade Milan Lucic and Jesse Puljujarvi to the Ottawa Senators for Mikhail Bodker and a second-round pick in 2020. The Oilers also trade Andrei Sekera, Colby Cave, and a second-round pick in 2020 to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Boone Jenner and Sonny Milano. The Chicago Blackhawks trade Brent Seabrook and Brandon Saad to the Vancouver Canucks for Chris Tanev, Tanner Pearson, and a second-round pick in 2020. If the Canucks make the playoffs, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. The LA Kings trade Jonathan Quick to the Vancouver Canucks for Jacob Markstrom, Sven Baertschi, and a first-round pick in 2022. Calgary Flames acquire Henrik Lundqvist from the New York Rangers for James Neal and a first-round pick in 2020. Pittsburgh Penguins trade Oli Mata to the Ottawa Senators for Andreas Englund and a second-round pick in 2021. The Winnipeg Jets trade Jacob Trouba to the Philadelphia Flyers for Shane Gostisbehere. If the Flyers make the playoffs, the Jets get a second-round pick in 2020. A three-team trade is made between the Pittsburgh Penguins, Dallas Stars, and Vancouver Canucks. The Dallas Stars get Evgeny Malkin and Jake Virtanen. The Vancouver Canucks get Phil Kessel and Matthias Janmark. The Pittsburgh Penguins get Oli Juolevi, Rope Hintz, Brett Ritchie, Dennis Gurianov, a first-round pick in 2021, and a second-round pick in 2020. Another three-team trade is made between the Tampa Bay Lightning, Anaheim Ducks, and New York Islanders. New York Islanders get Tyler Johnson and Corey Perry. Anaheim Ducks get JT Miller, Anton Strawman, Josh Ho-Sang, and a second-round pick in 2020. Tampa Bay Lightning get Andre Casse, Nick Ritchie, Michael Dal-Cole, Thomas Hickey, and a second-round pick in 2021. A three-way trade is made between the LA Kings, Arizona Coyotes, and Colorado Avalanche. The Colorado Avalanche get Drew Doughty and Richard Panik. Arizona Coyotes get Eric Johnson and Dustin Brown. LA Kings get Cale Makar, Alex Galchenyuk, Tyson Jost, Benny Hinostraza, a first-round pick in 2020, and a second-round pick in 2020. Since the Nordiques are now back in Quebec, that will have a major effect on this coming free agency. In this scenario, all RFAs are re-signed by their own teams. Buffalo Sabres re-signed Jeff Skinner and Jason Pominville. Carolina Hurricanes re-signed Peter Mrazek, Justin Williams, and Michael Furland. Columbus Blue Jackets re-signed Matthew Shane and Ryan DeZingle. Dallas Stars re-signed Matt Zuccarello and Jason Spezza. Montreal Canadiens re-signed Jordan Wheel and Nate Thompson. New York Islanders re-signed Anders Lee, Brock Nelson, and Robin Lehner. San Jose Sharks re-signed Joe Pavelski and Joe Thornton. Vegas Golden Knights re-signed Derek Englund, and Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Winnipeg Jets re-signed Ben Sherratt and Brandon Tanev. Calgary Flames re-signed Garnet Hathaway. Colorado Avalanche re-signed Richard Panik. Detroit Red Wings re-signed Nicholas Kronwall. Nashville Predators re-signed Brian Boyle. Ottawa Senators re-signed Magnus PRV. Philadelphia Flyers re-signed Cam Talbot. Quebec Nordiques re-signed Riley Sheahan. St. Louis Blues re-signed Patrick Maroon. Tampa Bay Lightning re-signed Dan Girardi. Toronto Maple Leafs re-signed Ron Hainsey. And the Washington Capitals re-signed Brooks Orpik. Anaheim Ducks signed Anton Strawman and Curtis McElhinney. Colorado Avalanche signed Carl Hagelin, Ben Lovejoy, and Ryan Miller. Detroit Red Wings signed Colin Wilson and Brett Connolly. Edmonton Oilers signed Brian Elliott, Thomas Vanek, and Valtteri Filppula. LA Kings signed Paul Lindholm, Michael Del Zotto, and Keith Kincaid. New Jersey Devils signed Jake Gardiner and Jordan Eberle. Pittsburgh Penguins signed Alex Edler, Gustav Nyquist, and Adam McQuaid. Quebec Nordiques signed Sergei Bobrovsky, Artemi Panarin, Tyler Myers, and Troy Brouwer. Arizona Coyotes signed Marcus Johansson. Boston Bruins signed Kevin Hayes. Carolina Hurricanes signed Anthony Stolarz. Chicago Blackhawks signed Braden Coburn. Columbus Blue Jackets signed Mike Smith. Minnesota Wild signed Jamie McGinn. New York Islanders signed Wayne Simmons. New York Rangers signed Semyon Varlamov. Ottawa Senators signed Patrick Nemeth. Tampa Bay Lightning signed Erik Karlsson. Toronto Maple Leafs signed Marcus Kruger. And the Winnipeg Jets signed Derek Brassard. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Tampa Bay Lightning, followed by the Quebec Nordiques and Toronto Maple Leafs. In first place in the Metropolitan Division are the New York Islanders, followed by the Washington Capitals and Carolina Hurricanes. The Boston Bruins hold the first wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, and the New Jersey Devils hold the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Missing the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are the Montreal Canadiens, Columbus Blue Jackets, Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins, New York Rangers, Buffalo Sabres, Detroit Red Wings, and Ottawa Senators. In first place in the Central Division are the Dallas Stars, followed by the St. Louis Blues and Nashville Predators. In first place in the Pacific Division are the Vancouver Canucks, followed by the San Jose Sharks and Vegas Golden Knights. The Winnipeg Jets are the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, and the Colorado Avalanche are the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Missing the playoffs in the Western Conference are the Calgary Flames, Edmonton Oilers, Chicago Blackhawks, Arizona Coyotes, Anaheim Ducks, Minnesota Wild, and LA Kings. The Quebec Nordiques and Dallas Stars meet in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Dallas Stars win the Stanley Cup in 6 games. Notable 2020 draft picks: LA Kings get Alexis Lafreniere, Ottawa Senators draft Quentin Byfield, Anaheim Ducks get Lucas Raymond, Minnesota Wild draft Alexander Holtz, Detroit Red Wings get Anton Lundell, Buffalo Sabres draft Noel Gunler, New York Rangers get Marco Rossi, Arizona Coyotes get Justin Barron, Pittsburgh Penguins get Jamie Drysdale, Chicago Blackhawks get Casper Sementival, and the Philadelphia Flyers get Caden Hull. In the 2020 offseason, a few blockbuster trades are made. Edmonton Oilers trade Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Darnell Nurse, as well as a second-round pick in 2021, to the Buffalo Sabres for Rasmus Ristolainen and Casey Mittelstahl. If the Oilers make the playoffs, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. Then the Oilers trade Oscar Klefbom and Kyle Yamamoto, as well as a first-round pick in 2022, to the Anaheim Ducks for Cam Fowler. Nashville Predators trade P.K. Subban to the New York Rangers for Kevin Shattenkirk, Pavel Buchnevich, Vinny Laterra, and a first-round pick in 2022. The Nashville Predators also trade Pekka Rinne to the Buffalo Sabres for Alex Nylander, Carter Hutton, and a first-round pick in 2022. Arizona Coyotes trade Nicholas Jarmelson to the LA Kings for a second-round pick in 2021. New Jersey Devils acquire Nikolai Ehlers from the Winnipeg Jets for Damon Severson, Nathan Bastian, and a second-round pick in 2023. If Ehlers gets more than 60 points, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. Minnesota Wild acquire Mark Stahl from the New York Rangers for a second-round pick in 2021. Pittsburgh Penguins trade Patrick Hornquist to the Nashville Predators for Nick Bonino, Laurent Dauphin, and a second-round pick in 2022. Quebec Nordiques trade Evgeny Dadonov and Mark Pysyk to the LA Kings for Austin Wagner and a third-round pick in 2021. If Dadonov re-signs with LA, the Nordiques get a first-round pick in 2023. The San Jose Sharks trade Ryan Merkley and Jonas Donskoy to the Detroit Red Wings for Michael Rasmussen and a second-round pick in 2022. Vancouver Canucks acquire Colin Miller and Alex Tuch from the Vegas Golden Knights for Troy Stecher, Nikolai Goudobin, and a second-round pick in 2022. The Washington Capitals trade Braden Holtby to the Detroit Red Wings for Tyler Bertuzzi, Ryan Kuffner, Christopher N., a first-round pick in 2021, and a second-round pick in 2022 in a sign-in trade. The Winnipeg Jets trade Brian Little, Jack Roslovic, and a first-round pick in 2021 to the Carolina Hurricanes for Jordan Stahl. A 3-team trade is made between the Detroit Red Wings, Philadelphia Flyers, and Buffalo Sabres. Detroit Red Wings get Claude Giroux and Kyle Oposo. Buffalo Sabres get Jacob Voracek and Libor Sulak. Philadelphia Flyers get Sam Reinhart, Anthony Mantha, Tage Thompson, a first-round pick in 2021, and a second-round pick in 2023. Another 3-team trade is made between the Minnesota Wild, Columbus Blue Jackets, and Toronto Maple Leafs. The Columbus Blue Jackets get Mitch Marner and Victor Rask. The Minnesota Wild get Kasperi Kapanen, Alexander Wennberg, and a second-round pick in 2022. Toronto Maple Leafs get Cam Atkinson, Alexander Texier, Jonas Brodin, and a first-round pick in 2024. Calgary Flames re-sign Travis Hamonic and TJ Brody. Chicago Blackhawks re-sign Chris Tanev and Eric Gustafsson. Colorado Avalanche re-sign Tyson Barrie and Matt Nieto. LA Kings re-sign Alex Galchenyuk, Evgeny Danilov, Tyler Toffoli, Jacob Markstrom, Mark Pysyk, Derek Forbert. New Jersey Devils re-sign Taylor Hall and Sammy Vatanen. New York Rangers re-sign Chris Kreider and Jimmy Vesey. Ottawa Senators re-sign J.Huberdeau-A.Barkov, Mark Borowiecki, and Dylan DeMello. Vegas Golden Knights re-sign Cody Eakin and John Morrell. Boston Bruins re-sign Torrey Krug. Minnesota Wild re-sign Jared Spurgeon. Nashville Predators re-sign Roman Josi. Pittsburgh Penguins re-sign Matt Murray. Melker Karlsson re-signs with the Quebec Nordiques. Toronto Maple Leafs re-sign TVR. Alex Pietrangelo re-signs with the St. Louis Blues. And Nicholas Backstrom re-signs with the Washington Capitals. Anaheim Ducks sign Zach Bogosian and Jay Bouwmeester. Chicago Blackhawks sign Thomas Greiss and Darcy Kemper. Carolina Hurricanes sign Carl Soderberg and Joakim Nordstrom. Detroit Red Wings sign Justin Schultz and Mike Hoffman. Edmonton Oilers sign Craig Smith and Connor Sheary. Minnesota Wild sign Mikael Bakker and Eric Holla. Montreal Canadiens sign Mikko Koivu and Aaron Dell. New Jersey Devils sign Justin Braun and Jake Muzzin. New York Rangers sign Mikael Granlund, Kevin Miller, and Ryan Callahan. San Jose Sharks sign Radko Gudas, Trevor Daley, and Lou Domingue. Yaroslav Halak signs with the Arizona Coyotes. Mike Green signs with the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo Sabres sign Mike Green. Sam Gagner signs with the Colorado Avalanche. Dallas Stars sign Andrew McDonald. Andy Green signs with the Edmonton Oilers. New York Islanders sign Corey Crawford. Trevor Lewis signs with the Philadelphia Flyers. Pittsburgh Penguins sign Charlie Coyle. Jamie Howard signs with the Ottawa Senators. And the Winnipeg Jets sign Brendan Dillon. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Tampa Bay Lightning, followed by the Buffalo Sabres and Toronto Maple Leafs. In first place in the Metro Division are the New Jersey Devils, followed by the New York Islanders and New York Rangers. The Detroit Red Wings hold the first wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, and the Quebec Nordiques hold the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Missing out on the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are the Columbus Blue Jackets, Washington Capitals, Boston Bruins, Carolina Hurricanes, Pittsburgh Penguins, Detroit Red Wings, Montreal Canadiens, Philadelphia Flyers, and Ottawa Senators. The Dallas Stars hold the first playoffs. In first place in the Central Division are the Dallas Stars, followed by the St. Louis Blues and Colorado Avalanche. In first place in the Pacific Division are the Edmonton Oilers, followed by the Vancouver Canucks and San Jose Sharks. The Winnipeg Jets hold the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, and the Vegas Golden Knights have the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Missing out on the playoffs in the Western Conference are the Anaheim Ducks, Chicago Blackhawks, Calgary Flames, Nashville Predators, LA Kings, Arizona Coyotes, and Minnesota Wild. The Quebec Nordiques and Vancouver Canucks meet in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Quebec Nordiques win the Stanley Cup in 6 games. The 2021 offseason brings about a drastic change in the NHL. In 2021, Seattle enters the NHL, so there will be an expansion draft. After the expansion draft, Seattle trades Jason Demers, Zemgus Girgensons, and Derek Ryan, as well as a second-round pick in 2023, to the Ottawa Senators for Chris Tierney and Cody Ceci. Seattle also trades Daniel Sprong, Maxime LaJoie, Michael Raffle, and a second-round pick in 2024 to the Minnesota Wild for Jason Zucker and a third-round pick in 2024. John Moore, Brett Ritchie, Charles Hudon, and a third-round pick in 2023 get traded to the Arizona Coyotes for Lawson Crouse and Nick Merkley. Colton Seaver and Marcus Foligno are traded to the LA Kings for Mike Amadio and a third-round pick in 2023. Darcy Kemper is traded to the Chicago Blackhawks for a third-round pick in 2025. Brandon Peary is traded to the New Jersey Devils for a 6th-round pick in 2024. Connor Brown is traded to the Detroit Red Wings for a 4th-round pick in 2023. Notable 2021 draft picks. The Minnesota Wild draft Joshua Waugh. Arizona Coyotes draft Fabian Lysell. Ottawa Senators get Cameron Wynot. Philadelphia Flyers get Samu Tuomala. Seattle drafts Atu Ratti. Montreal Canadiens get Jeremy Wilmer. LA Kings draft Brant Clark. Nashville Predators draft Simon Robertson. And the Calgary Flames draft Jesper Wallstedt. The Chicago Blackhawks trade Jonathan Toews to the New York Rangers for Elias Anderson, Philip Chattel, Libor Hayek, and a first-round pick in 2023. If the Rangers make the playoffs, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. Chicago Blackhawks also trade Corey Crawford to the Vancouver Canucks for Adam Gaudette, Josh Teves, and a second-round pick in 2025. Chicago Blackhawks trade Duncan Keith to the Vegas Golden Knights for Brittany McNabb, Benjamin Jones, and a second-round pick in 2022. If Duncan Keith gets more than 35 points, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. The Boston Bruins acquired Mark Giordano and Kirby Reichel from the Calgary Flames for Dayton Heinen, Carson Kuhlman, Matt Grzelcyk, and a first-round pick in 2020. 2023. Detroit Red Wings acquired Ryan Suter from the Minnesota Wild for Andreas Athanasiou, Joe Hicketts, and a first-round pick in 2022. The Minnesota Wild trade Zach Parise to the Anaheim Ducks for Devin Shore and a first-round pick in 2023. The Pittsburgh Penguins trade Chris Letang to the Buffalo Sabres for Victor Olofsson, C.J. Smith, William Borgen, and a first-round pick in 2023. Quebec Nordiques acquired Patrick Kane from the Chicago Blackhawks for Owen Tippett, Grigory Denisenko, Brady Keeper, a first-round pick in 2022, and a second-round pick in 2024. If the Nordiques win the Stanley Cup, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. A three-team trade is made between the Columbus Blue Jackets, LA Kings, and Seattle. Seattle gets Tyler Toffoli and David Savard. Columbus gets Adrian Kempe and a first-round pick in 2022. LA Kings get Chris Russell, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Victor Rask, and a second-round pick in 2023. Boston Bruins re-signed Tuukka Rask, David Krejci, and Sean Kuraly. Colorado Avalanche re-signed Gabriel Landeskog and Philip Grubauer. Columbus Blue Jackets re-signed Nick Foligno, Brandon Dubinsky, and Riley Nash. LA Kings re-signed Alec Martinez and Chris Russell. New Jersey Devils re-signed Kyle Palmieri and Blake Coleman. New York Islanders re-signed Corey Perry and Casey Cizikas. Seattle re-signs David Savard and Kevin Shattenkirk. St. Louis Blues re-signed Jaden Schwartz and Tyler Bozak. Toronto Maple Leafs re-signed Frederick Anderson and Jonas Brodin. Anaheim Ducks re-signed Ryan Getzlaf. Buffalo Sabres re-signed Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Carolina Hurricanes re-signed Dougie Hamilton. Edmonton Oilers re-signed Adam Larson. Montreal Canadiens re-signed Jeff Petrie. San Jose Sharks re-signed Barclay Goodrow. Vegas Golden Knights re-signed Tanner Pearson. Washington Capitals re-signed Alex Ovechkin. And the Winnipeg Jets re-signed Dustin Buffalo. Carolina Hurricanes signed Paul Stastny and Tanner Pearson. Columbus Blue Jackets signed Nicholas Hjalmarsson, Jake Allen, and Michael Grabner. Colorado Avalanche signed Artem Anisimov and Jamie Oleksiak. Edmonton Oilers signed Henrik Lundqvist, Nick Bjugstad, and Andrew Cogliano. LA Kings signed Matt Niskanen, Derek Stefan, and Zach Smith. Minnesota Wild signed Ilya Kovalchuk and James Reimer. The Nashville Predators signed Steven Johns and Brandon Sutter. New Jersey Devils signed Devin Dubnyk, Matthew Perreault, and Jordan Martinook. Ottawa Senators signed Blake Como, Colton Seaver, and Derek Ryan. San Jose Sharks signed Travis Zajac, Alex Steen, and Eric Goodbronson. Seattle signs Brandon Saad, Ian Cole, and Eric Stahl. Tampa Bay Lightning signed Dion Phaneuf and Marcus Foligno. Toronto Maple Leafs signed Darren Helm and Michael Rothwell. Anaheim Ducks signed Jonathan Bernier. Arizona Coyotes signed Carter Hutton. Boston Bruins signed Brian Elliott. Calgary Flames signed Antti Ranta. Chicago Blackhawks signed Nick Bonino. Detroit Red Wings signed Jordan Wheel. Montreal Canadiens signed Brandon Smith. New York Islanders signed Zach Hyman. New York Rangers signed Mark Stahl. Quebec Nordiques signed Matt Calvert. Washington Capitals signed Alex Goligoski. And the Winnipeg Jets signed Luke Glendening. This is Seattle's roster before the 2021-2022 season. The first line is Michael Dal-Cole, Eric Stahl, and Jason Zucker. The second line is Brandon Saad, Atu Ratti, and Tyler Toffoli. The third line is Marcus Sorensen, Chris Tierney, and Leo Komarov. The fourth line is Lawson Krause, Ivan Barbashev, and Marcus Granlund. The first D pair is Ian Cole and David Savard. The second D pair is Nikita Zadorov and Kevin Shattenkirk. The third D pair is Calvin DeHaan and Cody Ceci. Goaltenders are Corey Schneider and Laurent Brossoit. The extras are Michael Kempney and Brandon Lemieux. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Tampa Bay Lightning, followed by the Quebec Nordiques and Buffalo Sabres. In first place in the Metropolitan Division are the New Jersey Devils, followed by the New York Rangers and Carolina Hurricanes. The Detroit Red Wings hold the first wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, and the Columbus Blue Jackets are the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Missing the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are the New York Islanders, Toronto Maple Leafs, Washington Capitals, Boston Bruins, Philadelphia Flyers, Montreal Canadiens, Pittsburgh Penguins, and Ottawa Senators. In first place in the Central Division are the Colorado Avalanche, followed by the St. Louis Blues and Dallas Stars. In first place in the Pacific Division are the Edmonton Oilers, followed by the Anaheim Ducks and Vancouver Canucks. The Winnipeg Jets hold the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, and the LA Kings hold the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Missing the playoffs in the Western Conference are the Vegas Golden Knights, San Jose Sharks, Chicago Blackhawks, Seattle, Nashville Predators, Calgary Flames, Minnesota Wild, and Arizona Coyotes. The Buffalo Sabres and Edmonton Oilers meet in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Edmonton Oilers win the Stanley Cup in 7 games. If the NHL were to relocate to Quebec, the teams that would be most affected in this scenario are the Quebec Nordiques, Dallas Stars, Detroit Red Wings, Buffalo Sabres, Colorado Avalanche, and Edmonton Oilers. The Dallas Stars now have a core of Evgeny Malkin, Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, Alex Radulov, Matt Zuccarello, John Klingberg, Miro Heiskanen, and Ben Bishop. The Buffalo Sabres now have a core of Jack Eichel, Jeff Skinner, Jacob Voracek, Chris Letang, Rasmus Dahlin, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Kirby Dack, and Pekka Rinne. The Detroit Red Wings now have a core of Dylan Larkin, Claude Giroux, Ryan Suter, Braden Holtby, Kyle Turris, Travis Zegras, and Anton Lundell. Colorado Avalanche now have a core of Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Gabriel Landeskog, Drew Doughty, Tyson Berry, Dylan Kozin, Artem Anisimov, and Philip Grubauer. The Edmonton Oilers now have a core of Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Casey Mittelstadt, Matthew Boldy, Craig Smith, Connor Sheary, Cam Fowler, Rasmus Ristolainen, and Henrik Lundqvist. The Pittsburgh Penguins and Minnesota Wild are the biggest losers in this scenario, as they both seem to be in the midst of a rebuild. This is the roster for the 2021-2022 Quebec Nordiques. The first line is Artemi Panarin, Vincent Trocheck, and Patrick Kane. The second line is Jonathan Huberdeau, Alexander Barkov, and Kevin Labanc. The third line is F.Vatrano, Henrik Borgstrom, and Sora Noel. The fourth line is Matt Calvert, Riley Sheahan, and Karlsson. The first D pair is K.Yandle and Ekblad. The second D pair is Michael Matheson and Victor Soderstrom. The third D pair is Joakim Ryan and Tyler Myers. Goaltenders are Sergei Bobrovsky and Samuel Montembeault. If the NHL were to return to Quebec, the whole landscape of the NHL would change, and the Quebec Nordiques would be poised to be contenders for a long time. On my next NHL What If scenario, I'll be talking about what if legends played in the modern NHL.